Sort of here.
That's it. What do I get my help? Good comments up of you.
Right, I'm going to sing. I don't know. You're not. You haven't come through yet. You know?
Yeah, you just need to refresh the page.
I know. There you go. Here we are.
Afternoon, Mr. E. Afternoon, Robert.
There we are. Right, there you go. Got it.
Good stuff. You keep an eye out for people coming through the door there, then. 16 watching already. Afternoon, John. Lot to get through today. An awful lot to get through today.
Mags McLachlan, Gordon Izzat, Austin Butler, Sandra Rutherford, Maggie Brannan, Ian Matheson, Norrie Webster, Lynn Robertson, Jean Slesser, Karen Douglas.
Hi, Eddie.
Alex Adam, Rosalind Irvin, Linda Wallace, Rosie Margaret Owens, or Rosie, Kay McNee.
Right, numbers are growing fine. We're up to 66.
Yeah.
Um,
Who's making the music? Huh?
Oh, it's an advert.
Oh, right. Okay. I was going to join in. You know, I was going to. Yeah. There you go.
Oh. Let's get this show underway. And you stop that bam pop to point that bloody thing.
I speak, man. Eh?
No, I've missed everybody coming in. Sorry, big pardon. It's a bit slow in the YouTube a day. In fact, a bit slow altogether. I guess Friday's a bad day for it. Huh? But never mind. Anyway.
First thing is, I don't know if any of you guys saw it this morning. I put up a notice with a picture about Anniesland Cross in Glasgow. 36-inch water main had burst, and I haven't heard anything further about it. No doubt my darling wife will have gone that direction because she works at Plean Street. Yeah, it does. It was quite a it was quite a thing to see.
Don't bloody well dare encourage him, and I mean don't encourage him. Wow. Turn your hearing aids back up, John.
Listen, guys, I've got carpal tunnel syndrome. The worst I've got it in is my left hand. I'm a guitarist, and I can officially call myself an ex-guitarist because I struggle to pull a chord these days. So I've got a keyboard up in the cabin that I use to mess about with. So there you go. All right.
Mess about with it. Because you're well carpal tunnel syndrome. If the music is a musician, the faker's deep and all.
I'm not a keyboard player.
Right, practice makes perfect, David. You've been encouraged.
Right, okay. Right, come on, let's go
again. Anyway, right. So, welcome to the Two Davies on the 21st of the 4th, 2023. We've got a lot to talk about, David. So, we're going to start on Monday and we'll progress a wee bit through the week, all right? So, two big monumental events on Monday. It's announced that Sunak is to face an inquiry by the Standards Committee.
Yeah.
Or potentially misleading a Commons committee. I think it was a liaison committee. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head. And in that committee, he was being questioned on the new childcare provision for England. And it was being pointed out that it would actually take 3 times the amount of money being allocated to it for this scheme to work, and only the wealthiest are going to benefit from it.
Yeah.
It turns out if both parents in that road are not working for 16 hours or more, they don't qualify. help.
Correct.
Okay, so anyway, he's being questioned on it. And the Labour woman who was questioning on it actually knew that his wife had interest in one of the childcare companies. Get this, one of the childcare companies who'd been awarded a contract as the pilot for the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
6 companies were awarded contracts as a pilots for the scheme, so they picked 6 pals, and they've been given money to pilot this scheme. But one of them belongs to Mr. Sunak's wife, or she's got interest in it, sorry. Now, let's get that correct. She doesn't own it outright, she's got interest in it. Now, when he was asked if it was a conflict of interest, he said no. And the wee one was trying to tease it out of him and make him declare his interest. But unlike an ordinary member, who would have to say when discussing this that that the other members should refer to his register of interests, right, which is where they declare their outside interests. For ministers, it's different. For ministers, they declare their interests on the minister's roll of interests. And since Boris Johnson's last ethics advisor resigned, that register hasn't been updated or published. So a register of minister's interests is no good to the public because we can't look at it. But when Sunak eventually realised what was going on about him, because he's not the brightest.
No.
And it took this woman 3 times to get me to realise she was asking him about his register of interests. And he just gave a throwaway remark, my interests are listed in the normal way. So potentially he's misled the committee, because he should have said, my interests are registered in the Minister's Register of Interests.
Forgive me for saying this, David. Does someone like Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, not have people sitting beside him when he's doing something like that? I didn't see the discussion that you're talking about, right? Was he not supported by anybody?
Aye, but that's the point. He's only just put in place a new ethics advisor.
Yeah, but you would figure that maybe he would have an advisor beside him.
Civil servants on either side.
You know, and would say, look, do you not realise that this hasn't been updated? Yeah.
You've got to remember, there's no talent round about them.
Yeah.
They're surrounding themselves with sycophants, no talented people.
Yeah.
No, so no, you're right. Either the civil service don't like him because they didn't butt in and say, listen, this is what she's asking.
John, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Jack the van driving God, our legend.
Still a driving legend. No, John the van driving legend, still a driving God. Well, there we go. That's a fact.
Oh, he's going to be changing his name to John the truck driving legend soon. He's gone for his class 2. Well done, John. Well done. You can't have about it, son. Good man. And good luck, John. I'm sure you'll manage it, no bother. It's not a big step up for you. Depending the size of arm. It's not a big step up. Honestly, it's only about 30 feet longer. And it's only about 3 foot wider. It's only got a big overhang at the back.
No,
potential for 4, 6 or 8 wheels. Front wheel steering. Could be 2 axles. So you've got all that field to play in, John, before you jump up over the
Don't listen to him. And Paul, thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Listen, let's get back to business here. On the same day, Colin Beattie, the treasurer for the SNP, is brought in under caution for questioning, or as they're calling it, arrested. Now, there's a reason why they're using this technical term, arrested. I've had a good look at it, folks. And the reason why they're using this technical term, arrested, is it's actually assisting police inquiries and being questioned under caution. They're the actual terms for it, but the reason why they're using the term arrested is because it gives the police certain powers over these people for 10 and 28 days, respectively.
Can I add to that?
10 days after they've been cautioned, they can be called back for questioning any time in that first day, 10 days after cautioning.
Hang on, David. Can I add to that, right? seemingly the fact that they've been technically arrested when they're assisting the police with their inquiries is that the police can hold them for 12 hours for questioning, right?
Maximum 12 hours. If they don't raise charges, it won't let them go.
But if they want to extend that, a senior police officer has to give their okay and sign off on it, and that allows them to extend it to 24 hours. That's the reason why they've just been held, or they've just been sort of encouraged to stay there for 12 hours. And in actual fact, it's not been 12, but it's been 11 hours, something like that.
11 hours and 45 minutes for each of them, because they know they can't charge them.
And also, who else was it? Struthers Brown. Thank you very much. So we got.
So on the same day, Collins lifted. So that's to take the heat, put the heat back in the SNP in Scotland on the SNP bad stories, and we have of course, it means that we're not hearing about Sunak getting up in front of the standards committee, you know. But what's interesting about what's happening here is they tell me there's a list of 8 people to be interviewed. Apparently, an independent blogger supplied this list of who he thinks are guilty of some sort of corruption. But as Gordon Ross was talking about in his programme today, there's no crime here. What they're actually doing is they'll just pull one of these people in at a convenient time when there's a bad story down that road, a bad story for the UK internationally, and to try and undermine the SNP for the next election. And if they can manage to prevent the SNP from getting their books audited and in, I think it's by July, then the SNP could be deregistered as a party.
Well, no, it'll cost them $1 million, and I forget what the term is, but it's money that they get for being a political party.
But it's more to it than that, David. They could be delisted as a political party.
It won't come to that. It will not come to that.
Technically, they could be, which would stop them from fielding MPs. Candidates. And
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you very much.
We have to thank Sean for this. We really do.
I know.
The man could have single-handedly derailed the Yes movement for 30 years. I hope he's sitting hanging his head in shame. Because there is no crime here.
I don't think Sean's thought about it very much. I don't think Sean puts much thought into what he... I mean, I've had a look at what he's done in the past, and everything he's done is just like, right, I'm doing this, right?
A bit moronic. He's not the brightest candle in the book, in the box, sorry. He's not the brightest of candles. But here we are in a situation, and Cillian wanted us to talk about it, so we shall, Cillian. Here we find ourselves in a situation where I warned 2.5 years ago for Bonnybrig in a transmission from a trust at 5:30 in the evening that any cracks in this movement, the unionists would put levers in and bust it right open. Next time the Alpha Party comes along, cracking the movement. And that brings us to the latest independence poll, David. Did you see it? Regressed to 56% no, 54% yes. The weighting apparently is all right on it. So it would appear that the onslaught in the press is actually having an effect on the people's intentions to vote SNP. And as you and I have already discussed, SNP go backwards in the next election, you can forget independence in real lifetime. The polls that are going out at the moment, I mean, don't forget, I believe that was a YouGov poll, right? And that was Zahawi's company. Zahawi that did the deal with the HMRC to get off with thing, right? So really... I guess even it's going to be Nicola that's next, but we don't know.
That's who I believe it will be, is Nicola. And that's also who the national newspaper put out an article reckoning that it's going to be Nicola that's next.
When we get right down here, what's going on within the movement? I warned this for tapping, folks. I did warn this for tapping. And it would appear that Mr. Salmon's vendetta against Mr. Sturgeon is going to blow up. That's going to be the crack. And that's not me saying that. That's an Alpha Party member themselves. The pollster, James Kelly, a member of the Alpha Party. Once again, he's through a second letter saying to Alpha Party activists, chuck it. And I'm going to say the same thing to SNP activists. chuck it. We're doing their work for them.
Yes.
Eyes own the bloody prize. Learn your how you gonies, and you're going to have to work twice as hard to convince people for this next election. Because there's no splitting the vote, folks. Let me make this clear for all you people out there who really don't understand this. The Unionists do not recognise anyone except for the SNP. We have a Green SNP majority in Holyrood. We have a majority of Green SNP and Alpha Party members in Westminster. Not recognised. The only party they'll recognise is the SNP.
Yeah.
You don't recognise coalition. So there goes your SNP Alpha 2, SNP 1 Green 2, SNP 1 Alpha 2. That's out the window. They don't recognise the Greens. What makes you going to recognise the Alpha Party? And this next election, folks, this next election is first past the post. If you really want independence, doesn't matter who you think you need to vote for in this next election, you need to vote SNP, because if they go backwards, our cause and our fight is over. Except for keeping the youngins fired up so they go on with it. Because they've got a 25-year battle to fight. The way we've just fought a 25-year battle. In fact, longer. 1998 until now, 2014. And now we're
right.
all...
David, can I just talk on this just for a second, okay?
Sorry,
I've seen lots of posts regarding Sarah Sawyers and Salvo and all the rest of it, right? And they need signatures in order to get it to the court, what she's trying to do, right? That's fine. That's okay. And I go, well done, all the rest of it, right? Go ahead and sign if you want to. Right? However, let me finish, right? Okay. We have a situation right now where you could have 4 million people in Scotland that want to vote yes for an independent Scotland. And the only way that can possibly happen is if you've got a big enough political party to get the bloody ballot boxes out the cupboards. If you haven't got that, you're fucking stuffed. All right?
Before we move on to the next subject, let me end by saying this. This is typical Scottish. This is typical clannish. And we need to gather the clans, unite the clans, and stop this nonsense. One clan, one goal. We can decorate the house after we've got the keys. Let's get the bloody keys first. And in the comments, you're right. We do need to get the young out to vote. But they're not getting the opportunity at the next election. Most of them don't have qualifying identification. And that's why we have got to get out and vote in droves. And there's only one party to vote for. Because there's only one they're going to recognise. So if you want independence, hold your nose, vote SNP. Right, let's move on to the next subject. And that is a Home Secretary to get powers to overturn rulings to stop deportations from the European Court of Human Rights. So this is a new migration bill going through Parliament, David. They intend to toughen it up, and they intend to give the Home Secretary a wee and new powers to undermine the human rights of those who are coming here seeking asylum. Now, these new powers are pretty well frightening. Thanks very much, Alistair. Very generous of you.
Thank you, Alistair.
Now, I'm going to give you a quick read of these new powers because they are absolutely horrendous, right? So, the new powers, under the new bill, people... David, you're going to have to start turning that bloody thing off. Right? Under the new bill, people removed from the UK would be blocked from returning or seeking citizenship at a later stage. Migrants, or those coming across a small boat seeking refuge, will not get bail when they're detained, and they will not be entitled to a judicial review after being in detention for 28 days. It also places a legal duty on the Home Secretary to detain, in other words, arrest and put in prison, those arriving in the UK illegally, meaning those coming seeking asylum because they don't have papers. you know, and they're to be shipped to Rwanda or a third country, a third case safe country. This will take legal precedence over the person who's seeking to claim asylum's human rights and legal rights. In other words, turfing them out of the UK is more important than their human rights. Right. Now, in a letter that she sent to MPs, because it's the right wing of the Labour Party they're trying the Conservative Party they're trying to calm here, because they're wanting to go much further. As you know, they're wanting to scrap our human rights as well. But it's only a small step to what's about to be said here, right? Following publication of the bill, Ms. Braverman conceded to the House that it's more than 50% likely that this bill will break international law on the rights to seek asylum under the Human Rights Convention, which the UK has signed up to. So the Home Secretary is to get power to avoid what's called the Section 39 order from the European Court of Human Rights, which stokes deportations, you know, illegal deportations on the grounds that the family life, because they built a life here, or on the grounds that when they get where they're going, it can cause extreme harm to them. So migrants will no longer have any rights under the Human Rights Act when they land on our shore. Sorry, I'm not saying that. Migrants, please excuse me, I apologise. Asylum seekers.
Refugees.
Refugees, asylum seekers.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrific. And given that evil witch any more powers at all is frightening.
Well, you know, and that perhaps nicely draws us into another facet of the discussion, which is that last night we had a situation where Rishi Sunak had to make a decision over Dominic Raab on the fact that the report had come through.
Hey, we've got rolling orders here, David.
However, it does tie in nicely with the fact that already he has been told get rid of Braverman, and a lot of his MPs are objecting. A lot of his MPs are objecting to the words coming out of her mouth.
Yes. Oh, she'll be gone by the summer, but
basically, no. But in fact, she might not be gone by summer. The reason is because Sunak is that much a lightweight. They're going to have to start attaching lead weights to his bloody feet to stop him from floating away. Right? Seriously, the letter that he brought out reference responding to Dominic Raab, who had resigned.
Listen, can we get to Dominic Raab when we get to Dominic Raab? We're still on Suella Braverman.
I know. But at the same time, it had to be said at that time, because
the only thing that ties Dominic Raab to Braverman is the fact that he was Justice Secretary when this bill was being written up.
Aye, but also Sunak is the common denominator.
Aye, but listen, even that Van Bojo's in there and all. But let's stick to the point here. I mean, and the point is, when you start undermining others' human rights, it's only a very small step till you start undermining your own people's human rights. Yeah, and we've seen that happen in England already.
Yeah.
Noisy public protest banned.
Yeah.
You know, potential activists like you and I end up in Clinton for 2 years, being told who we can and cannot associate with.
Yeah, that's right.
Being tagged and told to show up at the police stations without charge.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course, I've got dual citizenship. If they think I'm too much hassle, they can just strip me of my British citizenship and just ship me off to Germany. Never to be returned.
Yeah.
I mean, fascism isn't just creeping in. It's stomping its fucking boots all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be brought up because the mainstream media are not talking about it. And talking about fascism, dictatorships, let's move on to the next subject, shall we? Mr. Cleverly writing to the World Diplomatic Service to tell them that they're not to speak to Scotland except via Westminster.
Well, you know, I've said already that is actually an area where certain people in the diplomatic circles, not British diplomacy, I'm talking like in the EU or whatever, he's getting laughed at. He's getting laughed at internationally. The last from the EU was laughing at him for bringing that in. Yeah.
Did you see her? She was absolutely pissing herself laughing. She says, have they got any idea how a bad look this is?
Yes.
And it just strengthens Scotland's case with the UN as a colony.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to talk to our neighbours unless Mother England says so.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how the people of England feel about the impression of their brothers and sisters and cousins here in Scotland. Maybe we should have a poll and ask them.
Come here, you. You wait until your dad gets home tonight.
I wonder how our cousins in England feel about it. The ones that call us all racist, well, you're the one imploding
But off the back of Cleverly's announcement to all the commissioners and ambassadors and all the rest of it, right? Then instructs Lord Frost, who has never been elected ever, and he starts saying, it's about time we started to blooming strip the Scottish Parliament of all its powers.
Aye.
There you go. There you go. There it is.
The first one to say it. Starmer was the first one to say devolution's a failed experiment.
That's right.
Bloody Keir Starmer. You know, you think you're going to vote Labour at the next election rather than SNP. Just take that into your heads. Starmer thinks that our Parliament's a bad idea. Lord Frost thinks the people of Scotland should be stripped of all diplomatic abilities worldwide, and our Parliament should be stripped of everything. It should be named in the county council. Funny that, Labour MP, Neil MacDonald, was it Neil MacDonald?
David, I'll just say it. Thanks, Chris. He's just giving a explanation there. Sorry, carry on.
MacDonald, I think it was MacDonald. I can't remember now. Anyway, right after the Scottish referendum, he said, all we've got to do is bayonet the wounded and strip that Parliament out.
Oh, yes. Yeah. He was the guy that was threatening blooming, what's her face, the MP she's a really, really nice MP, but she's a surgeon. She deals with breast cancer.
Right. Dr. Whitford.
Yeah, Philippa, yeah. And I actually wrote to Philippa at that time and just sort of gave a bit of verbal support or support in writing. And she wrote back to me saying thank you very much.
Well, anyway, that's what's happening. Parliament's been stripped of its powers. They're going to use the internal market bill, as we said. We spoke about this when the bill was introduced.
Yeah. Went
into depth on what's in that bill.
Mm-hmm.
And the bill's basically levelling everywhere in the UK down to England and America and lower.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just seen them throw away regulation on food standards because they know we're going to have to buy cheap crap elsewhere as it dries up for Europe.
Yeah.
You know? And remember, folks, there's 10% rat feces allowed in American food produce.
Yeah. To be honest with you, this anybody that lived through that time of going to the polling station and voting for a Scottish Parliament and all the rest of it, you really, really need to get your heads in gear on what these people down in London are trying to do to you. They're trying to take your democratic rights to that Parliament. It's not the fact they're going to bulldoze the building. What they're going to do is they're going to remove any powers from it, because powers loaned are powers kept. They're not given us the powers to do things. Right? That's right. The only way that we can possibly get it whereby we've got the powers and we can do everything is through Scottish independence, and that's it.
And what we're actually seeing, David, is the fact that devolution is impotent because power reserved, power devolved is power retained.
Yes,
that's
right.
the correct term for it. And they are proving that now. Yeah. Number 2, Section 35 order will be battered into us in March now instead in August because they've delayed the deposit return scheme. But when you think about it, folks, we are now living here in Scotland in a dictatorship, a colony which is run by a Governor-General. That Governor-General is Alistair Jack, who has a veto over our democratically elected Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
He has now installed himself as the supreme ruler of Scotland.
I really do hope that the new leadership team that we see forming in the Holyrood right now are able to actually stand up and go, no, you don't, or we're going to do it anyway, or whatever, right?
Well, to get back to the core point, England's decided to dictate to Scotland who it can and cannot speak to.
Yeah.
And it's telling the world now, officially, you can't talk to Scotland unless we give you permission to.
That's right.
Last week it was speculation, this week it's a fact. James Cleverly has now written to every diplomatic service on the planet saying you're not allowed to speak to Scots unless you ask us first.
And I've got to say, how bloody dare they? How dare he, and how dare Frost, and how dare anybody stop the people of Scotland and Scotland's representatives abroad from doing anything that promotes our country? Yeah?
But, so anyway, right, let's move on. Although we're doing quite well for time. But let's move on and get to Dominic Raab. All right. Mm-hmm. So, resigned today.
Mm-hmm.
After the KC who was assigned to make an inquiry into his bullying.
Let's put that into a wee bit of clarity, right? Okay. Point one. He resigned not because he's a good fellow and all the rest of it. He resigned because the case that was found against him was overwhelming. He's a bully. He created a situation where people were literally getting to the point they didn't want to go to work to be in the place where he was, right?
Yeah,
Second thing is that in resigning, he doesn't go anywhere. If I work for a company, I resign, then I clear my drawers out and I'm out of the building. It's as simple as that, right? With these buggers, they resign, but they still get to sit in the place of work. They're still getting a wage. All he's done is he's resigned his political position, right? And I assure you, he supported Rishi Sunak when Rishi Sunak had been binned by his own party, and Rishi Sunak got in as the Prime Minister due to Dominic Raab's support of him, right? So I assure you, even though he has gone, he is not forgotten.
No, he's not forgotten. And there are bits of legislation he's been drawn up will continue as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was the Justice Secretary. Who the hell do you think Braverman took this migration bill to get advice on it? Yeah. His department.
Yeah. And
it's rotten to the bloody core. But let's get back to his bullying. Apparently, worst it was when he was at the Foreign Office as a junior minister. He terrorised people there. Absolutely terrorised them. Yeah. And you're right, he resigned before he got the sack because Sunak was facing a hard decision here. Does he actually sack him? So I think Sunak's had a quiet word with him and said, resign the new Dominic, you'll get back in committee, you'll go back into cabinet in a couple of months' time when things are falling out.
Yeah. Yeah. The British,
there is no real punishment for these people.
The British public have a short memory, as I was told once. And that was from a chap that went to Eton that I was having a discussion with one day down in England. Yes, the British public have an incredibly short memory. And it's true, actually. What was said to me is absolutely right. The British public do have a short memory. They do forget.
British. Is that English British?
Yeah, that's red and white. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
We tend to have quite long memories because the crimes that are committed to us are committed upon us are long-lasting and devastating, like the poll tax, like deindustrialisation, like the killing of our economy with Brexit. These things will live on in our memories for a long, long time.
Yep. Steelworks, the shipyards, you name it. Actually, we remember. We do remember.
Of course, the recent developments with Scotland is now officially a colony. We have a Governor-General, and our Parliament has been undermined. And the democratic will of the Scottish people is being ignored. England is shutting down Scotland so the world can't talk to us. That's oppression.
Yeah. One would hope that people like Angus
our cousins in England are looking on in horror, because I've got a wee shock for our cousins in England. If they can do that to us, what are they going to do to use after all? It's your right to protest or taken away.
That's right. You can't get away from it. We can.
Aye.
We play with cards right.
You all used to get away with it. All you need is torches and bloody pitchforks. Revolution. What the French are doing on your tellies.
Yeah.
But
the thing is though, they would deal with that, and what they would do is they put out the story that the people with the pitchforks are going to steal all the torches off the people. That's what they do. Divide and conquer. Of course.
I've seen a cracking meme today with Dominic Raab, and it said, there's now that Dominic Raab's resigned, is a Douglas Ross going to be the new chief bully? Because the people of Moray will tell you Douglas was a terror at school. He used to bully people terribly.
Did he? Oh, right.
Yes, Douglas was an absolute terror, especially girls. He terrorised girls a lot. Apparently, he bullied girls a lot.
He doesn't look the type. You know what I mean?
Oh, he does.
Yeah, you think?
You and I, you look like a wee spanner, because he wouldn't dream of trying to bully you and I.
Yeah.
But somebody that can intimidate, you know, I mean, it definitely looks like the type that would intimidate if he could.
The problem I had was I was one of the biggest kids at my school, so I never experienced any of that. Probably what people would call soft as shite, but at the same time, it's like I was big, I was tall, you know. So
I have to say, by the time I've left primary school, that sort of carry on didn't go on anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the time, you know, the 80s were a great time actually. 70s and 80s were brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. No parental supervision whatsoever. No wonder we're such an inventive bunch of people. You know what I mean?
I would have hated to be like a teenager in this late 80s, 90s when AIDS became a thing, and everybody was going about going, oh hell, if we touch somebody the wrong way, we'll get AIDS, and that was awful. That really was, you know.
It definitely slowed the sexual revolution down for a wee while, that's for sure. It made Durex a lot of money and all.
Yeah.
It could be one of the reasons why we've got such a low population today.
Could be. Right, so anyway.
I want to move on to something that's important to... I want to move on to something that's important to the Yes movement itself, okay? Now, a friend of yours, Gary Kelly, a friend of mine in the grassroots, Gary Kelly, a couple of years back, was the representative the Aberdeen Council and for All Under One Banner. Mm-hmm. And he, as the representative, a petitioned the council for a licence to hold a protest or a march. Gary didn't comply with what they wanted. All Under One Banner didn't comply with what they wanted. Gary went there as the negotiator sort of thing, or the leader on the actual petition to get the licence. And they tell him what he was wanted. He gets back to All Under One Banner. All Under One Banner decide they don't like it. So Gary was charged under Section 651 of the Civic Government Scotland Act 2002, I believe it is. What are you doing? That might not be a great idea to play a live broadcast, David.
Yeah, it's just I just
Gary
was sorry, mate.
Gary was charged under Section 651 of the Civic Government Scotland Act 2002. Gary was faced two charges. One was failing to have proper traffic management company for traffic control, road closures and things like that as the march went through. Apparently, the rest of Scotland, All Under One Banner, used their own stewards. Aberdeen weren't having that to hire in a proper traffic management company, which they didn't do apparently. And the The other thing was he was also found guilty of deviating from the route. That was the same thing Manny Singh went to jail for 72 days for. On this occasion, Gary's been fined. Now, Gary intends to fight his conviction and go to appeal because he believes that Aberdeen Council have overstepped the mark under the right to protest, the right to gather, protected under the European Convention on Human Rights. Now, not going to go into it whether we think they were right or wrong, whatever, because that's not the point. The point is, from Gary's point of view, Aberdeen City Council are just taking the piss. And the Aberdeen Cops were taking the piss, which I didn't think so. I thought the liaison officers were good. So Gary was fined, as I say, but it's going to appeal because the right to protest, the right to gather, that's a fundamental human right, and he thinks he shouldn't be held.
Can you possibly, off the top of your head, remember how much he was fined?
No, I didn't ask because it's going to appeal, so it's still live. There's so much that you can actually say as the case is still live. That's why they're throwing this still live case thing at the SNP. You can't get everybody. They're wondering why Humes and that are no bouncing up and down. Well, it's dead simple. The Crown Office has said you can't talk about it. It's a live investigation. Well, I can report the facts on Gary's case up to a point, but that's about it. Okay.
But this thing that the Crown Office are pushing really, really hard, right? Don't forget, it's not the first time that a criminal case.
This is in the public realm, so it's all right to talk about it. Fine, 1,500.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you look at the amount of criminal cases that there have been out there, right? And it's like that law was in place for all of them, right? And we've actually seen cases throughout the UK where they were tried on the on newspaper or on TV. So therefore, it's like all of that goes out the window. But all of a sudden, it's really important to make sure that those little nasty little gnats, SNP or snippers, right, that they are told to keep their trap shut.
That's it.
And okay, I can't blame anybody that sticks to the rules, but I've got to say, it's like, you know, here we are. It's one rule for them, and it's another rule for us.
I applaud Gary for taking this all the way because if there's one thing I do agree with is that fundamental right to protest, to gather.
Yeah.
Right? To congregate together, to protest. But more importantly, there's that old saying, whose bloody streets? It's about time we made it clear to our local authorities and our governments again that they work for us.
Yes, that's right. That's absolutely right.
I mean,
I listened to a debate on TV last night where they were talking about, you know, the people that are gluing themselves to the roads. No, this was on Question Time, and the guy who said, he said, if you've got an emergency vehicle going down the road and you're stuck to the road, how's it going to get down? Well, okay, but therefore you've got to look at why the person's doing that in the first place. Why are they protesting? Why are they doing such a crazy thing as gluing themselves to the road? Right?
Sorry, he's right. The second one was feeling to the public liability insurance.
Yeah.
If you're calling a snap protest, you don't have any of these things.
Yeah.
And why isn't Aberdeen wanted a proper traffic control when every other city accepted a stewarding from all under one banner itself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as I say, that fundamental right to gather, to protest, it must be defended. And the other thing, as I say, we have to remind the public authorities that they work for us.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. It's effectively what's happening is they're trying to box us into a little space. Legally, I'm talking about, right? And at some point, the decision is going to have to be made. Okay, we'll abide by this law, but we're not going to abide by that law. That's what it's going to be.
I'll give you a bloody great example of it. The reason why we have to march from park to park, because out of sight is out of mind. The minute you go from one end to the other end, it can be forgotten about by the general public. You're out the bloody road.
Yeah.
Whereas that's one of the reasons why you can't get a grip of George Square. You've got to hire it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. It's keep it down, keep them quiet, keep them out of sight, and the ordinary other people who are just, as you call them, fair weather voters, will forget they're there.
Yeah.
You know. Which brings us to, we're winding on nicely, but this brings us to something else I wanted to bring up, and that is Charles' coronation is the 6th of May, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a big independence protest as well in Glasgow at that time.
Yeah. We've sent the invite to Meghan Markle to come and speak at the rally that takes part afterward, but she hasn't responded. So anyway, we did try.
I see I never get my invite anyway. People don't like being dealt off. Yeah. But what do you call it? What I want everybody to do on that day, and I want memes up everywhere out of everybody. On that day, I want the whole of Scotland to put a meme up saying, "Not my king."
Aye. Yeah. Or just scribble it on a bit of paper, take a selfie, right? Seriously, guys.
Your window on a bit of paper, "No my king."
This was a situation we got when it was when the Queen died, and there was people getting arrested for just carrying bits of paper. Never mind anything written on them, just the mere fact of walking down the road with a bit of paper, and there was a pen in their pocket. You know, that's how it got to. So we've got to push back and tell the authorities, "Not my king. I don't want them, I don't need them, and I don't need that big ears to blooming city's arse on any bit of stone from wherever it is." End of.
And if anybody wants a good laugh about the coronation, carry on. Just have a look at the video put out by Super Skansky. Absolutely brilliant. She's absolutely mental. I'd put it on, but I haven't sent her a message asking her if we could use any of the material, so there could be copyright.
I like the delivery. I like the way she delivers.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Makes my ranting look immature. So very sophisticated, well being very working class. Absolutely brilliant.
On that day, it's like, please get this in your head. It's not just a case of typing a few things that are on your phone and putting it up. Actually do something, like get a picture of yourself with the words "Not my king" or whatever you want, right? Okay.
Well, we'll be in Glasgow, so somebody start printing up fucking bits of paper with "Not my king" so we can hand them out.
There's an idea. Is there any good print shops out there that could do that for nothing? Right, fine, get on and do it. We'll carry them for you, don't worry. Right,
maybe we can drop bundles in them off in the supermarkets that are selling a lot of stuff with coronation on it, you know. Get to your supermarket and stick one in the cover of every newspaper. But on that day, guys, if you're like David and I, Republicans, then sign on the window, sign on your social media outlets. Not my king. And I'll probably do a "Not My King" broadcast from Glasgow that day because I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there at 5 o'clock. I'll be working that night probably.
We do need to get the message out that Scotland is not for this monarchy whatsoever, right? But still in all, I hear people going, they're good for tourism. What the hell? But France does better about tourism, and they haven't got a king.
No, they've got a lot of monarchies, though.
That's right.
They're owned by the public and make money for the public plus, you know.
Yeah.
But honest to goodness, as I say, but you know, they're good for nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, a fine example, Prince Non's 12 million quid at the public purse to pay off a wee lassie he diddled with.
Yeah.
That's very
he still holds an official title in Inverness, which is wrong.
The Loch Ness. He has got an official title in Inverness. It's the Loch Ness Noncer. I better watch it. I'll be my fibre in the door.
Yeah. No, but mind if they come round the door, see if they don't mind us taking up one of the rooms in their offices. Because seriously, they would give us a good broadband setup.
Yeah.
You know,
great broadband setup.
An MI5 camera each. Wow.
Nah, I wouldn't want any fish cameras, man. Oh, yeah, we're using government. All budgets have been cut. Listen, you're still using fucking bricks as mobile phones, that lot. MI5 camera. France. I've got better tech news than they've got in Brown Street.
Yeah, you must be MI5. The TP400, the big brick with the aerial coming at the top of that.
The computer monitors in Brown Street are still really big things with tubes in them. Hey, listen, their trucks are 30-year-old. How old do you think their computers are?
Never underestimate your enemy. And they are our enemy, without doubt, right?
Aye, but all means rip the piss out them. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. As individuals, don't have anything against them, right? However, when they act against me and mine, which is me, my family, my country folk, then that's it. They're my enemy.
They are our enemies.
Yeah.
We are no enemies of the state. They are enemies of the people.
That's right. The people are the state. Try to get your head around that one. It's like what we are trying to do is we're trying to create a change of management, which is we give a P45 to every MP, including the SNP, including the blooming 2 Alba blooming MPs, right? Give a P45 to every single MP in Westminster, yeah? And because what we need is we need our MPs up the road. But there's something else that I would like to hear from the Scottish Government is a guarantee that when we eventually do it, that the MPs that we have down in Westminster now are at least guaranteed a position, a wage as an MSP until eventually the change of guard in the following Scottish election. Yeah, which they can run for.
No.
Yeah. Which
they want to start for public office. Oh, don't, David. No. Once they withdraw from Westminster, which will be 2 years down the line for the declaration because of the negotiation, once they withdraw from Westminster, they can sit in the bloody sidelines, and if they want to run for public office, they can do it the same way the rest of us do.
Aye, okay. But we're going to rely on those. We're going to rely on those.
We're not putting an old boys act the way they did on that bloody road. We're building a new country. They'll comply with the rules the same as everybody else.
Yeah, we're going to rely on those people, regardless of how you feel personally, to actually get up from their seats and go, I'm not doing this anymore. Simple as that, right? You're going to have... Sorry?
Your mandate does the people here.
Right, okay, fine. I do honestly think it's not an old pals act. It's just purely and simply protecting people that are down there on a damn good wage, and those people are going to have to make a personal choice to go, right, I'm not taking that anymore.
Now, David, here's the point I'm trying to make, right? The point I'm trying to make is they will be doing there for about 2 years to finish up the negotiations, right?
Yeah, fine, okay.
And by that time, I expected a Scottish general election to be held shortly after the job's done, right? Yeah. So they can run for election if they want to run for election. We'll be restructuring our parliament. We'll be restructuring the amount of representation in our parliament. We'll probably restructure the voting system and then run an election. They want to stay in public office, that's the way to do it. Are we going to have a second chamber? Then they might have 2 chances to run in public office.
You're going to have to be realistic and realise that even so much as it's 3 or 6 months, you're going to have to carry them for that time. And it's not going to be difficult to do. It's only a question of a little money. It really is a little money with the number of MPs, all right, that we're talking about.
They've been in Westminster long enough to qualify for the MP's pension.
People live up to their wage. You know that.
Aye, so their bloody pension's a good one. Anyway, but that's all beside the point. If we don't get the keys to the door, it's not important.
Chris says the Stuarts are the rightful monarch. Fuck off, Chris.
Listen, if somebody wants to apply for the Crown of Scotland once we're independent, that's up to them. David Niall saying, no, king.
There is a guy online, I've talked to him online, right? And he reckons he is the rightful heir to the Scottish throne, right? Okay. And I said to the guy, I said, look, we don't need a Scottish monarch. A monarch isn't. It's an out of date concept. You know, we're not living in the past anymore. You know,
we have a monarch constitutionally. Let's take the way it's done in David Eddings' books. We'll hold a raffle every 6 months and rotate the king. Whoever wins the raffle becomes the king.
Now that I would be. Yeah.
I mean,
we'll call it the Scottish Monarchy Lottery. Monarchy Lottery. Try and say that.
Anybody that buys a ticket gets a chance of becoming the monarch for 6 months. And we'll give them a wee stamper on the desk so they can stamp all the laws.
No, think of the advertisement. King for a day. Eh? King for a day. Or
listen, if you're going to pay a couple of quid for a ticket, you want at least 6 months. Come on. And you want a damn good holiday to at least the chance to skim a wee bit off the top through the public purse.
Well.
But no, I'm all for the Scottish Republic. Thank you, David.
Yes.
Right, time's getting old. Listen, I need to get this announcement out. I meant to put a video out about it yesterday. We got to get distracted. Independence 2 Cafe charity night at the New House Hotel this Saturday. There's still quite a few tickets. If you're in the Central Belt, you fancy a night out with like-minded people, especially if you're in the North Lancashire area where it's accessible by public transport, or at Glasgow, it's accessible by public transport. The last bus for the New House Hotel into Glasgow is about 11:20 at night. It's the Glasgow Edinburgh Express that stops there. So, there you go. If you're in the Central Belt, contact Agnes Kerr at the cafe. Let her know your intentions to come along. Square her up at the door. You know, so they're generally good nights, folks. And the money goes to help food banks and baby banks and so on and so forth. The same sort of thing Dave and I are doing. We're an extension.
Yeah, and don't forget, I've still got 6 places on my dance card. You know,
because there's Swally there. It's a hotel and a roadhouse. So there's a function suite and there's a Swally there. So
Swally is there. You don't have to pay for it, but that's another matter, Chris. You know,
so if you can make it along, folks, it's for a good cause, and I'd say it's a good night out with like-minded people. There's a restaurant on site if you're feeling flush or if you're hungry. Yep. And they say drinks available, entertainment with Pete Scally, including the ticket price, five by your raffle tickets, and inevitably everybody wins a bloody raffle prize. I don't think it was a table, the last one didn't end up with a pile in the last one.
The last time I couldn't believe the amount of stuff that we went out the hall with you know, everybody was the same. I mean, you even, if I remember correctly, you won this great big
a
boogie box.
Big speaker,
right? Yeah. You know, they were cracking prizes. They really were absolutely cracking prizes, and I don't think anybody went home blooming without a prize. The raffle just went on and on and on and on. You know, so worth it just for that, guys. But apart from the fact, it's also worth it the fact I'll be there. Well, what can I say?
There's always that, and of course, Pete Scally's a good son. He's good entertainment, so he is. So if you can get there, please attend.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
If you can get there.
We know it's Friday night, and it's tomorrow night, so it's a bit late, but at the same time, it's like if you rejig your Saturday night, you might be able to do it, and it's a worthwhile thing to do.
It most certainly.
All right.
All right.
All right. Okay. So you want to do the wind-up speech?
Aye, folks, thanks very much. Viewing figures are great. 156 on YouTube. I've done all my head.
Yep.
And a total of 2 on my screens, 225. That's the total I've got for base sites. So that's not bad. That's a small theatre's worth, you know. Now, if you're going to share this on Facebook, give me a couple of minutes to make it public after we end the broadcast. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe. But hit the like button, it helps the channel, please. And if you're sharing for YouTube, please do share across your social media platforms if you like what we do. All right. Now, I think that about covers it, does it?
Just about, you know.
Oh, that
if you liked us, we are the Two Davies. If you didn't like us, you needed them today.
It's all the Two Davies, and we'll be back Monday at 2 o'clock.
Yes, we shall return.
And no doubt we'll have a couple of stories for Saturday night to tell. Right, that just leaves one thing left today because I'm going to work. So that's to say bye, Davey.
Bye, Davey. Bye, guys.